Right, we're here in one of the oldest precincts of the city here, the kind of heart really of medieval Amsterdam, or what remains of medieval Amsterdam. And behind us is the Oude Kerk, the oldest church in the city. It's the oldest parish church in the city. Amsterdam doesn't actually have a cathedral in the city here. That's in Utrecht nearby. But this here is the oldest parish church in the city, dating from the early 1300s. So there isn't actually a fixed date on it, but reckons was originally a timber building. The brick building that we see now, dating mostly from the later 1300s, and then some of the roof and other aspects to it added down through the centuries. Actually isn't even a church anymore. It just so happens that the Christian, and particularly Lutheran community here in Amsterdam is now only 5% of the entire population. Now that has to do with tithe paying. If you're going to be a member of the church here, you actually have to declare that officially and pay a portion of your salary in tithes. So rather than say in North America where people on a census or in conversation will still regard themselves as Christians, here in the Netherlands, people have actually rejected even labeling themselves as that as much, saving their own money, and the fact that a lot of these old buildings, old churches, have to find new functions. So both the new Kerk that we saw on the main Dam Square and the Oude Kerk here have actually been repurposed sort of to host various different events, sort of shows, things like that. Now, the great irony, of course, as you probably noticed, we'll walk down the alleyway here. I've already seen our first handful of red light windows, is the juxtaposition here. We've got the oldest church in the city next to arguably the most famous red light district in the world. So what's going on there? Well, it's actually kind of a nice tale going back to the origins of the city and really what made Amsterdam Amsterdam in the early days. So one of the things that put the city on the map happened in 1345. It was known as the Miracle of Amsterdam. What happened was a cold March night, 1345, and the local priest was called into a house on the Rokin, which was a continuation of the Damrak that we saw earlier from Dam Square there, that kind of main street. And the priest was called along to give the last rites to a dying old man in his bed. He was given sacraments of the Holy Communion, took in the communion itself, the host, the bread, turning into the body of Jesus Christ, and a moment later actually vomited up the host intact. It was still a piece of bread there. The priest and the attendant people in the family were shocked by this, confused out of their mind, didn't know what to do, flung this consecrated host here, still intact, into a fireplace nearby. And in the morning when they went to check on it, the man unfortunately died in the night. But when they went to check into the house again, and they saw that the host, the bread, was still sitting there among the burnt ashes of the now extinguished fire. It was immediately called the Miracle of Amsterdam, the fact that the host remained unburnt there. Now, I'm saying, okay, this is perhaps a cute little story, a bit of macabre tale even. What does this mean? Why did this register? Well, we have to sort of bring ourselves back to the mindset of the medieval world. Here again, we are in 1345. People didn't travel for holidays in those days. They didn't travel for fun. People traveled for were pilgrims. And so having your own miracle verified by the Vatican was a massive boost to tourism in those days. It really sounds kind of odd to mention, but as I said, that put Amsterdam figuratively on the map. Prior to this point, Amsterdam had just been one of many small backwater fishing villages, essentially, in what we now regard as the Netherlands. But many of the other cities, even Haarlem nearby, Rotterdam, Leiden, Delft, many of these other cities were actually much larger than the small fishing port of Amsterdam at this stage.